Hi, everyone. Welcome. And today we are here discussing the $1.5 billion construction program at Dyess Air Force Base. The reason why we're here is because we were working with one of our portfolio companies who we had got to a phase two, $20 million opportunities, and then they decided to change directions on us. And so with that, we said that we didn't want to waste all of our time in terms of research and efforts. And so we want to bring this to the public and let people know about this opportunity to see if there were any construction companies out here who could pursue this. And so with that, Sam.Gov, I want to turn it over to Randy Ward.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm so excited to be here with you all today. So I am going to be previewing with you the Dyess Air Force Base B-21 construction program. This has been an opportunity that I have been pursuing and learning about for over a year. As Eric said, I've been working with one of our portfolio large companies on this opportunity. And so speaking with the area engineer, the construction team, the contracting specialists, attending industry days for these particular opportunities, we did not want it to go to waste. There's a lot of information that we've been able to glean over the year, and they're about to come out with the very first two. So wanted to share that with you all, and in hopes of maybe there is a construction company that we can work with. Okay. So let's get started tonight talking about the opportunities. So for those who are not familiar with Dyess Air Force Base, it is in the Abilene, Texas area, and it is one of the bases that would be hosting the new B-21 bombers, or you might hear them referred to as the B-21 Raiders. So it is the construction program for these particular planes that would be brought to Dyess. And the USACE, or the Army Corps of Engineers Fort Worth District, will be partnering with the Air Force Base in order to bring this program to light. And so actually this particular program is not just the district and the Air Force Base itself, but it's actually going to be multiple departments that will be supporting this construction program. So some of them are the Air Force Global Strike Command, the Department of Air Force Rapid Capabilities Office, the Air Force Civil Engineer Center, and the Air Force Installation and Mission Support Center. So there are several that's working on this program to make this happen. And it is an 8 to 10 year program. So just think about that. If you get in on the ground floor, and that's what my area engineer keeps telling me, right? You get in on the ground floor, you do a job well, you have a lot of opportunities. There's going to be 25 new or renovated, right? There's going to be a combination of facilities that they will be doing for the program. Again, it is here to support all of the airmen and their families, et cetera, that's going to be coming in to that base to live in order to be there to use the B-21 bombers. It is a $1.5 billion program. And along the way, they will have SRM dollars, which SRM, for those who may not be familiar with that, is sustainment, restoration, and modernization dollars that would be available in the future. It is not something that they've put out on the budget yet because SRM dollars are designated under the operations budget. A lot more complexities there. But anyway, just know that that's potential opportunities that can come your way as well. So these two first opportunities that they are releasing, it is for the B-21 LRS, and LRS stands for the Logistics and Readiness Squadron. And this is for their 7th LRS or Logistics and Readiness Squadron. Okay, so they're going to be responsible for the fuels. That particular squadron, if you want to learn more about it, they are comprised of 4 different units or 4 different flights. And one of those flights is the fuel flights. So we're going to be building those fuel admin and lab, and also the refueler truck yard. So right now you will see out on SAM the pre-solicitation, and I have that number up there for you. So that way you can go check it out yourself. But we'll talk here about some of the details about the actual pre-solicitation. So right now it's slated, it says October 28th when you look at the due date. However, in conversations that I have with the team, they did let me know that it's going to be released September 27th. So just know that we're about a few days out, 15 days out from it being potentially released. All of the construction projects on this program will be design, bid, build. So there is no design, build work that's going to be released under this program. This particular one, they are releasing it for small business. There is a magnitude of about 25 to 100 million. But with the research and all that we do to prepare for our clients, we have actually found the actual budgets, and the total is 31.3 million for both those facilities. Again, the release date of the RFP is scheduled for September 27th with an award date of March 2025. Not an exact date yet, and the project is projected to be about a little over 500 days. Okay. So here is the first of the buildings, and the LRS Fuels Administrative and Lab facility. This particular facility is, as you can see, it will house the administrative building and also the laboratory where they do a lot of testing of the fuels. It is slated to be about 659 square meters. I did not put that on the slide. That's just additional research that you can dig and find. But it is slated to be about 659 square meters, which is about a 7,000 square foot building. It is going to be single story. Has command space that's going to be in there. All of the utilities, detention ponds, site improvements, all of that is going to be a part of this fuels administrative and lab facility. There are some additional pieces that are very specific. For example, reinforced concrete drilled pier foundation, load-bearing masonry walls, pre-finished metal wall panels, standing seam metal roofs, which seems to be a standard these days with DoD, and also some other. There's a lot of other pieces that go into, right. I don't have to go into those details, but there's going to be a full stand up of a ground up, right, that you're going to be responsible for. For the refueler truck yard. This one is going to have parking that will be a 9-inch reinforced concrete pavement, secondary containment, area lighting, pavement markings. We'll also have some construct covered vehicle parking canopies. This one will have some site improvements, stormwater drainage, access to roadways, some fencing, and some other things that will be a part of it. So right there, you can see the vehicle parking refueling area is about 12,400 square meters. And on the next slide, you'll see that the actual vehicle operations parking shed is scheduled to about 3,400. It's a little bit more than that square meters as well. So some of their secondary containment for this particular refueler truck consists of trenches, drainage lines, some concrete containment basins, and some additional equipment for storage that will be held adjacent to the parking. Now, some of the pain points that the Army Corps has shared is that they are lacking solid subcontractors and reliable and responsive primes. I'm going to put those two together. They need strong primes to come in and provide the service that their subcontractor base has been decreasing in that area. So not only the subcontractor base, but the prime base has been decreasing. So they do need primes that are able to come in and truly fulfill at that level, that type of work. Also with the subs, because it is in more of it is not remote. If you look up Abilene, Texas, it's between, it's heading west of Dallas area. And it is in more of a not as populated area. So having subs that are consistent, or not all the subs are being tied to every project on the base, is important to them. So that is something that we would need to solve for, is having subs that maybe can be brought in from adjacent towns that can do the work. One of the other issues that they have is that some of their past contractors have not understood the way that the soil is in that area. They label it as an expansive soil. So because of that, they've had some foundation issues with some of the new work that even they have done recently. Okay, so we want to make sure that whoever goes after this work truly understand how to work with the type of soil that the Dyess Air Force Base sits on. They have done a lot of research. That's why a lot of when you read the specs on what they're asking for, it has piers that would be drilled, reinforced concrete foundations, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so that is one of their pain points when it comes to these specific buildings that they will be standing up. Again, primes, they need some solid primes that are willing to communicate well with them. They're reliable and they are responsive. So if you can fall into any of those and handle those pain points, we definitely want to talk with you, because they can definitely use your service. Okay, some of your must-haves, right? These are, right now you're not going to see these, see some of these on your pre-solicitation, but it is, again, having prior knowledge with working with this particular district. The P6, for those who are familiar with the scheduling, this is the primary scheduling software that the district uses. And there is no questions about it. You can't go around it. They talk about it all the time in industry days, and even when you have capability briefings with them. So this is something I wanted to make sure that you would be aware of before you go into any additional research about the opportunities. Make sure you're registered in SAM. That's an easy one for those who've never done federal contracting before. It's easy, right, for you to get your registration done, get your UEI number, get your cage code. And so you want to make sure you're registered in SAM. They do talk about that in the pre-solicitation, as well as they discuss PI. And Eric is going to actually bring up on screen, and we'll look at PI for those who may not be familiar with the procurement integrated enterprise and enterprise environment. It's like their project management system. It's all encompassing. You have to be registered in PI. They do everything through this system. You will see that if you go to the pre-solicitation, right now it's out there. However, they will release, more than likely, this district has the history that they will release their RFP through PI. So you would still have to go in there. They will also request that the proposal is submitted through PI. So it's important that you get registered. They also do all of their submittals through PI. Their invoicing for the project is done through PI. And then one other thing that they do through PI is it has to do with the cybersecurity. So if you go to the solicitation right now, you'll actually see that it talks about something called the NIST score. And I wish I could get around talking about it, but it is front and center, and they talk about it on everything now, and at any of their meetings, they bring this up. So the cybersecurity, I'll just give you a little bit of background on that. Because they need to protect CUI, which is controlled unclassified information, which in this case, those construction drawings will fall under CUI. You do have to have a self-assessment done through the NIST standard. The NIST is one of those industry standards for protecting your systems, okay? And you can't get around it. It's a 110-point assessment. You do not have to have 110 out of 110. The wonderful thing about it right now is that they're allowing you to have any score. They just want to see that you have done the work to at least initially consider where you stand with being able to protect their data. So under PI, there is something called SPRS, which is the Supplier Performance Risk System. That is where you will go in and you will do your assessment, and it'll keep the score for you. And that's where the district then goes into and look to make sure that your score is really in there. Okay, so you want to make sure you do that before you decide that you want to respond to the RFP. Okay, here are some of the upcoming forecasted requirements. Again, hold this loosely because this has changed quite a bit over the last year, okay? But these are the most recent ones that they have shared with us. So coming up in FY25, so besides the two that they're doing right now, they will not release another new one until Q4 of FY25, and that's going to be a new substation. And then in FY26, they will be releasing these next 6 projects, which would be, they'll be doing some more utilities and site improvement, mission planning, a mission planning facility, corrosion control facility, radio frequency facility, field training detachment facility, and a flight simulator facility. So that's the plan. So FY26 right now is stacked with many projects yet to come. And part of the industry day that we were able to participate in recently, they took us around the base and actually showed us where all the facilities are going to be laid out, where the bed down is going to be, like how close to proximity. Like they have it very well planned. They are ready to go because this has been something they've been working on for over 2 years for this particular base. Okay, the last thing is just to leave you with some additional information about the program. Dyess is just one of 3. Okay, so Ellsworth Air Force Base is South Dakota. So if you're not in the Texas area and you can't get to Texas to do the construction, that's fine. Here are some other bases that you can check into. So they have started building Ellsworth out a few years ago, and they're kind of like the prototype of all the buildings. And then the Whiteman Air Force Base in Missouri, that's one of the other ones where it's going to be supporting some of the B-21s. So there's going to be some opportunities there. And then, of course, the Dyess one. There are some other subsequent bases that will be doing some additional support. So, for example, like Edwards Air Force Base, they will be leading the B-21 testing and evaluations. And then the Tinker Air Force Base in Oklahoma will coordinate the depot level maintenance and sustainment of the aircraft. So they too will be getting some additional projects out there. But the first 3 that I talked about, the preferred locations, are going to be the main ones. That's going to be housing the actual bombers. Okay. That is everything I have. So, Eric, you want to open it up?
Yeah, thank you so much, Randy. So why don't we talk about really quickly Alchemy Gov and how Alchemy can help?
Okay, so Alchemy Gov, for those who are not familiar with our services, We are the ones that construction companies call when they want to diversify their revenue stream by adding federal contracting to that. They realized it is overwhelming, it is challenging, it's confusing, right? And so they need someone to help guide that process and walk them through the procurement, the federal government procurement process. So we're here to provide the business development services, like what you saw that I just did, and all of the research that I do. That's what our team does. We support those construction companies that are in our portfolio by not just finding opportunities on SAM. We just don't find opportunities on SAM. We are actually out discussing, talking, building relationships with the decision makers, right, of these opportunities. We learn about them way ahead of time, and we start our research and continue going down that path. So that's what we are here to do, to support construction companies if you're out there and want to diversify and need some assistance.
What type of companies can go after these opportunities here on this program? What size companies?
So with this being, and I was actually talking to the contracting specialist about this, with this being small business, it's kind of interesting that they would put it small business, but the total, like I showed, the budget is, 31 million, right? So your bonding capacity would need to be able to at least handle a single bond of 31 million, right? In that proximity. So that would be really one of the things that would set you apart on the ability to release.
That's for a prime contractor. What about subcontractors that you said we're looking for reliable subcontractors?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Okay, so for subs, you can do concrete work, you can do site work, you can do utilities, right? You can do masonry work. You can, any of those trades would be viable subs that can bring value to that prime. So,
and where would we find the prime contractors to work with? Do you have a list of primes that we can work with?
For subs, one place you can, you can look at who has done work for USACE, Fort Worth District in the past that may go after these opportunities. They may be a good start. Sometimes on SAM, they have the people that are interested in the opportunities. The primes may have themselves up there, and you can connect with them. Sometimes, believe it or not, you can reach out to the small business person for the district, who I know her very well. So I'm happy to help connect you. And she sometimes can help you be connected to those primes.
Okay. So there's nothing that you can do. If they were to send our information to you, you couldn't connect us with whoever was the person that was being in the running.
Yeah, feel free to reach out to us as well. We will be keeping up with who's going after the opportunities and so forth. And we can definitely plug you in with some of them too.
Okay. And what email address would you like us to send our email to?
They can reach out to rward@alchemygov.com.
Okay. Can you drop it in the chat? It's just drop it in the chat for us, please. All right. Good stuff. Does anybody that's watching now have any questions that they want to ask? I didn't see any questions in here. Looks like everyone's heart's content. No, thank you. This was a great presentation. And ideally, what we'd like to do is, moving forward, we want to start talking more about some of the programs that the government has out here and bringing that to the audience so that you guys can learn about the programs and then learn about requirements and also what it takes to get involved. And so we want to be a resource to everyone out here and want to talk about actual programs, and specifically programs where we know that the government's having challenges meeting and finding good quality subcontractors. So if you're in that area and you think that this is something that you could take on, if you need more work and you're in or around that area, and again, you believe that you have the capabilities to do some of this work, because again, if it's $31 million, right, we know that there's probably going to be a $3 million concrete package. There's probably going to be $1 million AC package, $1 million package for, doors and windows, siding, right? The roofing is probably going to be another $4.5 million. So we know there's going to be some trades guys getting some nice 7-figure packages, and so we want to try to help them connect those dots in that. So again, thank you so much, Randy. I appreciate you. Thanks everybody who watched us live today, and we look forward to talking with you guys soon. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Thanks. Bye.